Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. As you can see right now by this very official sign, we're at the North Pole. I'm here with my special elf assistant, Katie.
Hey guys.
So a few days ago, Katie asked me,
what do you want for Christmas, Mark?
I don't know about you guys, but whenever a family member or a significant other asks that question, I really have to think about it. And we all know what can happen if you're not clear about what's on your wish list. Socks. Socks. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Socks. Subwoofer. As a car audio guy, different tools that I can use for car audio are always at the top of my wish list. So in this video, Katie and I are gonna go through some different wish list ideas that are great if you're into car audio. We actually talked to some of our different car audio friends and we were able to secure 5 different coupon discount codes that you guys can use on some of the different things that we're gonna show in these videos. So make sure you stay tuned in through the whole video for details on each of those deals. Now you guys don't know this yet, but Katie is actually extremely knowledgeable when it comes to car audio tools.
Yeah, for some reason Mark thinks it's funny when I explain all this stuff.
Car Audio Santa is coming to town. You ready?
Let's get started.
So the first couple of things that we're going to talk about are kind of lower cost items, and these things would make great stocking stuffers. So first up, we have the Olfa knife.
Ooh, well this clearly is for cutting things. And it's always sharp. You just keep on pushing when you need a new blade. And then it just pops off. Perfect.
So what's really cool about the Olfa knife is the fact that, like Katie said, you can snap off the ends. So when you're working on a project where you're cutting something, you really want to have a sharp edge at all times. So when you need to, you can just simply break it away. You have a fresh new tip. And this is really nice for when you're cutting vinyl. And it also comes in handy when you're putting template tape on different pieces. You can actually use that sharp edge to actually pop the edge of the tape off so that you can remove the backing paper as quickly as possible. So next up, we have what's called a push block.
This is, you need this. This will save your life. Your fingers, when going on the router.
Just like that, when you're going, that's why you need this. No, what this is good for is when you're working on the router, you always want to make sure that your fingers are far away from the blade. This is a small price to pay. And while we're talking about this is a little bit higher cost version. This is kind of more the professional version, if you will. And Katie's actually used this in one of the previous videos that we made. But this is a router shield from Mobile Solutions. And what you can do is you can stick your workpiece to this with template tape, and you can then use it on the router, keeping your fingers a safe distance away from the router. So especially if you're doing small detailed pieces, small detailed work, that can be sketchy and you don't want your fingers close to the router. Again, I think this is in the $50 to $60 range, and that's a small price to pay compared to an emergency room visit.
Yeah.
So next up, we have one of my favorite glue bottles, the Glue Bot.
How awesome is this? You just squeeze it and it comes out. That's dumb.
No, that's funny. Okay, so obviously you can buy glue in a normal glue bottle, but what's cool about the Glue Bot is when you fill this up with glue, first of all, you can buy glue in bulk, and when you buy it in bulk, when you're using tons of wood glue all the time, you can save some money. But when you buy it in bulk, it comes in a huge container. So when you pick up one of these, you can obviously fill it up with the wood glue. And what's cool about this is you can actually have the glue come out the nozzle without tipping the bottle upside down. You can see, you might be able to see it here on camera. If I squeeze it, you can see that the glue is actually going up the nozzle there. And what this is handy for is when you're doing something that's more complicated, when you're working inside a box, and it might be a huge box that you can't necessarily flip over. If you're doing a wall build or something like that, it's easy to still get that glue up in the corner. Glue Bot.
That's right.
So next up, we have some cool connectors.
Connectors? These are like little Legos. Look how they just connect together. Maybe this way.
No.
No, this doesn't work.
You had 2 of the female ones. What these are special bullet connectors. I actually recently just did a video about these, and what they're great for is when you have a tweeter or another speaker that's hardwired, in other words, it doesn't have speaker terminals built in, you can solder these to the wire, and it then allows you to install this tweeter into the vehicle and easily disconnect it. And a lot of you guys were commenting on that video, and some of you guys told me about these different connectors here that I want to review in an upcoming video, but I'll drop a link for those down below as well. That's something that we forgot to tell you guys. All the different items that we're going to be talking about in this video are also listed down in the video description. So another great stocking stuffer item is a good headlamp.
Great for going spelunking.
So what a headlamp is good for is, obviously they make light, it's pretty obvious what they do, but when you're in a vehicle, a lot of times it's really hard to see what you're doing. And there's a couple of different options out there. Some of the less expensive options, you're gonna have a light where you're gonna have this more of a focused beam where it's kind of just one point. But there are some other options out there, and I'll link this down below, that have this really cool LED bulb where it actually spreads out the light. And I've been using this one a lot lately because, like I said, it spreads out the light. I can really see everything that I'm doing. And something else that's actually really cool about this particular model is it has a button that we can press. And when we press that button, it actually has a hand activated light. So you can see just by waving in front of it here, it's motion activated to turn it. Getting all crazy. Don't go so fast. So yeah, a good headlamp really makes a big difference when you're installing in a vehicle. So next up, we have a wire stripper, a wire crimper, and
This is for working out.
This is for stripping wires. This is for crimping wires, and this is for cutting wires. So obviously in car audio, you're constantly going to be making wire connections and stripping wires, so the stripper comes in handy for that. Your crimper, when you're crimping on different connections, is good for that. It's always good to have a good crimper that you can actually get a nice solid crimp out of. And then finally, these wire cutters here, these are pretty bulky and nice. You can actually cut through very large cable with these. The largest I've ever cut is 0 gauge cable with these. I'm sure you could cut larger, but you could definitely cut at least 0 gauge with these, and it goes like right through it, just like butter. So next up, we have all sorts of different tapes from Tessa Tape. So probably one of the most well-known styles of Tessa Tape are the different harness wrapping tapes where we can actually take some wires and wrap them together.
Mark, I wrapped all the presents with that tape.
If you take this Tessa Tape and you use it to wrap up remote start installations, if you use it to wrap up wire harnesses behind a radio, it's just really great for wire management and keeping everything looking nice and clean.
And presents.
One of my good friends, Jeremy, that sells the Tessa Tape, he actually was gracious enough to hook us up with a coupon code, so be sure to check that out down below. So next up, we have...
I know exactly what that is. So this is an iPad dash kit, and this is used to install an iPad into your car. And I'm pretty sure it's made by that guy that doesn't know how to make a plastic speaker ring.
That's actually exactly correct. So like Katie said, this is an iPad dash kit, and it's from my good buddy Doug over at Soundman. And what this is really handy for is if you wanna install an iPad into the dash of your vehicle, it makes it very easy. And he has a couple of different kits available. One is called a side slider, where it actually slides in from the side. He also has a float mount kit, which has this unique design which allows you to actually push on the iPad and the top of it clicks out of place away from the magnets that are built in. It's just a really unique and good product that saves a ton of fabrication time that you would have to spend with messing around with fiberglass and trying to get a mold of your nice expensive iPad. You don't want to do any of that. Get the kit. And a big thanks goes out to Doug, because Doug also hooked us up with a coupon code for his iPad dash kit, so check that out down below. Next up, we have the SA4100i RTA measurement microphone. This is from our good friends over at Audio Control, and what this is for, if you guys have ever heard of an RTA, where you'll play pink noise in your vehicle and you can actually tune your vehicle by using an RTA microphone. I have a whole video where I explain this guy in detail and how to use it, and you can see that it actually connects to an Apple device, and right now the microphone is actually picking up us talking, and you can see all the different frequencies. You can do a couple of different things with this app. It has an FFT analyzer. You can check polarity with it. It also has an SPL meter. So it's a really handy little device that's easy to use. And actually, Audio Control was another company that was cool enough to hook us up with a discount code. So again, check it out down below. So next up, we have some different measurement devices from my good friends over at Steve Mead Designs and DM Moore.
Hello?
Sorry about that random phone call, but we have these measurement devices from Steve Mead Designs and Diamore Engineering. And what these are for is when you're setting up your system and starting to tune everything and you want to set up, for instance, your amplifier, you want to make sure that you're not clipping and you want to set your gains correctly. And that's what the DD1 is great for, the Distortion Detector 1 right here. And we also have the CC1. This is a crossover calibrator. This is for, if you know the little dials that are on the side of the amplifier, they're always really difficult to set perfectly. You can pick a particular exact frequency and you can use the crossover calibrator to set it to that exact frequency for one of your crossovers. And Steve also hooked us up with an awesome discount code on the DD1. Next, we have some various tools from one of my major show sponsors, Mobile Solutions, and honestly, I could recommend their whole catalog to you guys. Everything they sell is super handy for car audio, but I picked out a couple of things that I haven't talked about in a while and I kind of wanted to put a spotlight on. So the first thing is these quick radius tools. These are templates. These are part of their whole smart template lineup. But what's really cool about these is you can see it has these nice little pins. And what you can actually do is if you have a hard corner on a piece, you use these pins to actually line up on the sides of that piece. You can put it down and then use a router flush trim bit to quickly and easily create a radius. So next up we have the Smart Frame System Axis Shape Creator.
Come on, all types of. Ooh, look at that one.
So what the Axis Shape Creator is great for is making different shapes, as you can see Katie is doing right now.
The heart.
This whole kit has a lot of different pieces, and right now we kind of have a shape created already. We've kind of got it pieced together. But you can lock these knobs into place, and then you can template tape this down to a piece, and you can see that we have this cool design geometry that we could use within a car audio build. So that's kind of actually a cool shape. You could put like a subwoofer behind this. Or
I did that.
Axis Shape Creator. And if you guys check out one of my recent videos I just released, they just released an update to this, which is these new circle templates that are part of this whole system. So they have the holes built in, which allows you to obviously connect everything together. So the other reason I wanted to show you a couple different things from Mobile Solutions is they also hooked us up with a discount code, a site-wide discount code. So Katie, they know what to do, right?
Down below.
Down below. So finally, for the holidays, I want to show you guys some love myself. So I sell two things out of my store. It's not a huge store or anything crazy, but I do subwoofer box designs. So this is just the first page of the design where it kind of explains all the different parts that are actually within the subwoofer box. And what a subwoofer box design is say that you want to build your own box in your vehicle, but you're not exactly sure of the math behind it. You can actually hire me to design the box for you, and you can just tell me what subwoofers you're planning on using, what vehicle you have, and what type of music you like listening to, and I'll design the box to meet your needs. So again, this is just the first page of the document. The actual document will have multiple pages, and it gives you all the different dimensions of all the boards. So really all you have to do is go through the build pack, and you can see exactly what size you need to cut each piece of wood, and then you look at this main page and you see how everything goes together, and you build your own box. And then the second thing I have at my store is a rockin' Car Audio Fabrication.
That's mine.
Is a rockin' Car Audio Fabrication t-shirt. I'll do a little sale on those too. So again, guys, if you purchase the shirts or the box designs, it really helps me out. It helps me to continue making these videos. I really appreciate all your guys' support, and all the likes and shares and comments on the videos is awesome as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out the links to all the different things that we talked about today down in the video description, along with all the coupon codes. If you're new here, this is kind of a non-traditional video for the channel, but we thought it would be fun. And normally on this channel, I do car audio builds, I do reviews, and I do tutorial videos. So if you are new here, make sure that you consider subscribing. You can check out some of my previous videos on screen as well. All right, guys, have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.